Are you a dental professional feeling overwhelmed by the demands of your workload and stress in the workplace? Are you feeling stuck, burned out, and undervalued? Have communication barriers and team conflicts weighed down your practice? Have you been searching for something that can help alleviate your burnout and unlock your true potential?
Well, we know how you feel because we felt this way once too. As longtime dentists and professional life coaches, we're here to tell you to look no further. Refresh is here to give you access to key resources, tools, and the support you need to restore, renew, and revitalize yourself so that you can experience true well-being, both in your professional life and in your personal life.
That's right. So join us on an incredible journey full of growth and fulfillment like no other. Welcome to Refresh. We're happy you're here.
Are you a dentist looking to increase patient satisfaction and maximize your practice success so you can maximize profits and enjoy a balanced life? Or are you a practice owner struggling to make sense of the leadership and business aspects of your dental office?
Well, look no further than our podcast guest today, Angela Davis Sullivan. Angela brings over 30 years of hands-on experience in dental practices to help dentists, business owners, and teams achieve success. Learn from her expertise as an administrator, expanded functions dental assistant, new patient coordinator, and an office manager.
Angela helps doctors and teams reach their full potential and is a certified John Maxwell speaker, coach, and trainer. She brings her expertise into whole practice success. Today, discover how she can help you identify and diagnose common and uncommon challenges in your dental practice, create solutions that work for both you and your team, and take control of the day-to-day operations in your office. Angela's work has been featured in publications like Dental Economics, The Observer, Dentistry Today, and more. So your answer to the total well-being of your business awaits.
So we're going to dive into the mind and experiences of our guest as we ask her to share her unique perspective on two fundamental questions. These questions aim to provide our listeners, that's you, with valuable insights and guidance from someone who has achieved success and recognition in their industry.
So join us as we go behind the mask with Angela Davis Sullivan and discover the magic of building up leaders on your team that can transform your practice. Don't miss this opportunity to be inspired and empowered. Tune in now. Well, hello, everyone. We are so honored and blessed to have Angela Davis Sullivan joining us today for Behind the Mask. Welcome to the podcast, Angela.
Thank you so much. It's so good to be with both you guys.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you in our Mint Door podcast today because we're great friends away from this podcast room. So to get you in here is super fun for us. If we can start off, Angela, you have a wealth of experience behind you, so I'm sure you're going to have some answers for our first question. What insecurities have you hidden behind your professional mask, and how have they shaped who you are today?
I love this question because it may surprise some people who know me or think they know me, or know me now at least. I am very, very introverted, very quiet. And in our profession, you know, with speaking in front of groups and coaching and networking that you have to do, and even having team meetings sometimes, I really have to, or especially in the past, had to pull everything out of me to show up at a high level. And that's, you know, and you get better at doing it, obviously, and you learn some tricks and you just get more confident in doing it. But there's not a time, even now, where I don't have those insecurities, like before you leave your hotel room to go to a meeting where you know you have friends there. It still takes a lot of energy for me to do that. And I'm 100 times better than I was even 5 years ago. So, yeah. And I think pushing yourself to do it, having friends that are at these meetings that are like, where are you? Are you coming down? Or let's go have dinner together. Or, you know, my really good friend Robin has always been with me during that part of that early journey, was like, no, get out of your room, get your clothes back on, we're going downstairs. Like, no, I just want to hide in my room. So yeah, I get it. And we do that. And I know other people do it too in their lives. They just put it on and other people make it look really easy. And you don't know what they're really putting on for you to get the job done, kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. That's a really, it's a thorough answer, but if I can just push you a little bit more on it.
Yes.
How does that impact you when you're not at work? Or how does being an introvert when you're not in that situation? Who is Angela when she can just be who she wants to be.
That's a good one. And I'm finding out more and more about that. I'm actually a lot funnier than I think I was, to like friends who know me or my family, or when people in these groups like you guys see me different. I think you do, where I can be funny and relaxed and share and be vulnerable when I'm not so nervous or being introverted. I think I'm following that scale of ambivert. So I'm okay alone for sure. I don't need a crowd, but I can go out and be in the crowd as well. So I kind of switch back and forth between those things.
Mm-hmm.
Letting people see the real me at events and stuff where I am laid back and I have that Southern drawl and I'm going to say y'all. And I'm going to ask for sweet tea. Those are all the things that I'm becoming way more comfortable with out there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just say those things to me are completely endearing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I love it. I love it when people say y'all. And for anybody who knows me, I am a transplant into Southern culture. And even though I will never say y'all myself because it doesn't sound good coming out of my mouth, I do love it.
Oh, well, good. Yeah, and I've learned to embrace it and just start being me and being authentic for that. And it gets easier when you can just show up and be yourself. And I think speaking has helped me do that too. Thinking that you had to be or sound like somebody else versus let me just tell my story or my message and the right people are going to hear it. And I can do that by being authentic, being myself.
Mm-hmm.
A lot less energy to be yourself.
Isn't that the truth? And it's so interesting how, and especially amongst professionals in our profession, we put on this professional persona of what we think we should be acting like, talking like. And that is very exhausting. And really, if we're in this profession, we are professionals. We don't need to act like them, right?
That's true. That's exactly true. Yeah.
Oh, so I agree with you about the energy it takes. I'm curious, knowing this now, having gone through this journey and where you're at now, do you have any hints or guidance you would give either to your younger self or maybe your future self that hits this obstacle or this challenge again?
Oh, yeah. Take the risk. Go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid. My word this year has been brave. I've even got this rock that a friend gave me that has brave written on it. And I would have told myself to be brave sooner, way sooner. And I'm still reminding myself every day to be brave. Just be yourself, get out there. The message will be received by the right people.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hesitate so much. Trust yourself. I mean, gosh, there's so many things I could tell myself and still tell myself today. Yeah, trust yourself. Make the connections, build the relationships. Don't be afraid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah, I hold back a lot of times and wait to see what's going to develop or what might happen. And then we make up all these stories in our head when they don't, instead of just, let me just go and be me and get out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How does that translate to the people that you work with? Knowing this about yourself now, does this help you with the people you work with as far as giving them pointers or advice?
Absolutely. I think that we see in practices a lot, or I do, when we talk about the how to communicate with each other. Number one, how do we do that effectively? Talking to patients, especially when we talk about treatment and money. How do we find our voice and be brave and learn new skills? And then in leadership as well, it goes back to that communication and how do I show up for everyone? And then for teams, I love this piece though, because I do look for the quiet ones who don't have much to say at team meetings, because that was me. I had ideas in my head, but if someone was louder or more confident when they spoke about something, I would just shrink down and listen and take it all in. So I really try to tap into where's that quiet one that's on the team, because they've got something really important to say. They just haven't been given the space to say it yet. So I look for that especially.
That's
powerful.
Yeah, it is.
Like those.
It
Give
is.
them an opportunity to speak.
Yeah. You have so much knowledge on this topic. So it would be amiss for us not to ask for to share a little bit more of your knowledge with us on leadership, but as a female business owner.
Yeah.
Give us Angela's perspective on how that fits together.
I think it's really tough a lot of times for these women dentists to be the leader, the boss, when they struggle with another dominant female audience, so to speak, on how to own their role and then be able to handle conflict, be able to be the leader and not just the friend. Male doctors do not typically struggle with that. Life, babies, getting wrapped up in their stories, all those kind of things that women naturally do. But how do we separate ourselves as a leader in the practice and still nobody wants to be called the you know what in the office, but how to establish that leadership and create that culture that I've got this and I can still like you and be concerned about you and want to know about your weekend and family, but still walk that line of I own the practice, I know my numbers, I have expectations, my expectations are clear, I become a better communicator, all those kind of things. For women, they have to practice that and lean into that. And I've seen it happen as well with male dominant patients who try to intimidate. You see it at the front desk sometimes with about money, or people get aggravated or upset. There's an upset. They try to intimidate the female at the front. And then the doctor's a female, that same intimidation can come through. So how to stand your ground and be the leader. I do, that superhero pose. Get into your power pose and you got this. And help develop that leadership muscle in those female doctors. Sure.
It's so important that leadership piece. That's something that having gone through dental school, that wasn't really talked a whole lot about.
Yeah.
And that is such a important skill to continually build up and develop. I'm curious what how you empower your practices to build up the leadership within the whole team. How do we go about building up, like you say, finding that quiet one and building them up to be a leader? What are maybe some go-to strategies that someone listening today could say, ooh, I should try that?
I think one of the biggest things that leaders can do a lot better is listen and quit talking. And when we have these team meetings and there's a leader on your team. Now it may be the leader that you want and it may not be. And they don't have to have a title to be leading the team. So which way are they leading them? And does it line up with what you want to have happen? Leadership's about influence. And so how do we use that influence with our team, with each other, with our patients? And listening is the key part of that. And getting curious, ask questions. Don't take the first answer. Get in the habit of asking more questions, better questions, until you can kind of get deep into that with the team. And really, one of their goals should be to build up other leaders. It doesn't mean you have to do everything. So what do you see in your team members that you could tap into and then develop? And then finding that quiet one and having that one-on-one time, because it might not be the best space in a group conversation, but setting aside one-on-one time for them to say, hey, just tell me, what do you think? What do you think about that meeting? What were your takeaways? What did you write down? And get them to share it, because then that magic can happen. Because if they can share it with one and get some confidence, then we can share it with the team. And then that really can elevate them as a leader in the practice.
That's phenomenal advice. And I think that asking questions and being curious is such a paramount. And you know, we're talking about teams, but you know, that can translate to patients as well.
Patients, family, kids.
Yeah, true.
I mean, we could all do a better job of listening. We really, thought about it and paid attention to it. Yeah, we could get better. And that's a beautiful thing about a lot of these skills that I see with teams is I've had them come back and say, "Oh my gosh, I'm such a better communicator with my spouse or with my kids," because you can use those same techniques and tools for listening and asking questions with them as well. So that's nice for them to take it home and really apply it.
Yeah. It's like icing on the cake for you.
Yeah, I love that part. Yeah. And then they get better when the team's better and able to communicate in a safe environment and actually have an exchange of ideas. That's where, doctors looking for that. That's where the magic happens. They take it on and own it for you and with you and carry you. And that's like, as a leader, you can look back and go, yes, they're doing the things. They got it. They got it.
Yes. So it sounds like you share great tips, tools, strategies, all these things with the practices that you work with. You also have a book.
I do.
So can you tell us a little bit about the book and what could we learn if we read your book?
It's a short, easy book, and it's called Coming Home to a Better Practice. And the reason that resonated with me was because it's your work family. I mean, that's got to be your home. And you have siblings and cousins and grandparents and all different personalities in there and ages. So how do we make it feel like home when you're at work? So yeah, in the book, we talk about some of those things with culture, with vision, leadership, accountability that really give you some solid things that you can start to implement right away. As the leader or owner of the practice, you've got to figure out that vision and mission and your values for yourself. And we kind of walk through that foundation piece, and then sharing it with the team and picking the right team, that's going to carry your vision and want to be a part of your family. So that when you're going to work, it's not like, oh my gosh, I'm going to this prison sentence. It's not. You're going home. And when you can create that environment, your patients get the benefit of feeling that way too. They're going to a nice, warm, receptive place where they feel safe as well. So it's an easy read. It's not real long. It's not, War and Peace. So it's got some ways that you could do real quick to implement.
Fantastic. We'll make sure that the link, because you can get that on Amazon, correct?
It's on Amazon, correct.
Yeah. So we'll have that link in our show notes. And if you're interested in that book, I love the thought of coming home and the feeling of home. I believe that we undervalue sometimes that energy of our work environment and how important that is, that feeling, that kind of intangible feeling. And that really encompasses it nicely, coming home. You know that energy is going to be a positive, loving energy.
Yeah. And, families fight too.
Yeah.
And they have hiccups, and we're still a family. You can't get rid of them. So how do you have those upsets in the practice and still go, okay, well, today's a new day and here's our new plan moving forward. And we're all okay. We're all okay. We survived.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, I'm curious for our listeners, I know you offer a complimentary consultation call.
Yes.
How would somebody find you if they were interested in learning more about what you do or would like to take advantage of that complimentary call?
Yes, you can email me at Angela at adaptivedentalsolutions.com. And there's a dash in between those two words. We could put that in the link as well. And if you just put Mint Door in the subject line, I'll know you listened to this, and then I'll send you a calendar link and you can get on my calendar.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. And then you also have a website, adaptivedentalsolutions.com.
Correct.
And we'll make sure that link is in our show notes as well. So, but thank you for spending some time with us today and going behind the mask and sharing what you've learned about your insecurities and how you bring that to the world and enhance others in their dental practices. We really appreciate your time, and we hope that you, our listener, had some encouragement from Angela today. So,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Always good to see you guys.
it is awesome to be with you today. And again, we will make sure the link to your website and your email and to the Amazon link to your book are all in the show notes below. So thank you, listeners, for joining us. We adore you, and we will see you on the next episode of the Mint Door Podcast.